There may be points where you hear faint music in the background. I'm sorry, someone was playing music loudly outside. Hope you still enjoy this episode.
Unpicked. Hi, it's your boy Shay, aka Venom.
Hey, hello, hi, it's Dami Zane. Welcome to the Unpicked podcast. This is episode 5.
Episode 5.
We're on 5 already. Crazy.
Literally. Out of nowhere.
Yes, welcome to episode 5. How you been, Venom?
I'm good. Sporting the new garms and that.
I see you.
New hat. Still keeping it grey, but swagging on them.
I see you. I see how everyone stayed away from black today.
Yeah. I've been doing black like every week.
Literally.
So I thought, let me give some colour in this winter.
I hear it, man. I hope everyone... Whoa, my eye.
What about yourself?
Oh, I mean, I'm surviving.
Damn.
I'm surviving at this point because those of us that went to the WizKid concert, a few of us have ended up being sick.
Hey.
And apparently Chris Brown wasn't the only special
germ.
guest.
I was gonna say he wasn't the only germ.
I would never call him a germ.
He wasn't the only germ in the crowd.
No, Chris Brown wasn't the only special guest amongst the others that attended WizKid's concert because apparently the Omarion variant, that's what we call it on Twitter, was also there. I don't know if I have COVID at this point. I've done my PCR test. Results are waiting to be received. I've done lateral flow test, but that's not reliable. That says negative and I don't believe it because I don't feel great. But luckily we filmed this from our own homes, so
we're socially distant.
We are socially distanced, so it's
know what I'm saying? She was outside. I've been inside, guys. Stay safe.
Listen, don't try and make me sound bad. I was out here. It's my birthday week. I was out here. Yeah.
Listen, COVID, my birthday week, 2020. I was doing Home Alone flex, boy.
I said COVID's not taking another year from me.
Hey.
No, it's not doing that. So yeah.
I won't make any COVID jokes because you set me up for so many just there. I was like, I'm not gonna make jokes about your life.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm cool. But in talking about COVID, I mean, I don't want to talk about COVID for too long, but have you heard about Boris Nonsense's latest announcement? I
mean, I've seen what's on the Instaverse. I've seen those little clips, but I don't know. I guess I'll say it on this platform because I say it to everybody I know, but I'll just repeat myself. I don't really watch the news because it's a lot of like regurgitated rubbish and like drip feeding you the same information over the whole week, and it's rubbish. You could have never stopped COVID for this Christmas, regardless what you did. A new variant is neither here nor there. You have to maintain like social distancing. You have to maintain people wearing masks inside and all that kind of stuff just to stand a chance. But they let all of that go anyway. So,
I mean, even if they tried to do another lockdown, that's not going to happen because we've just found out that last year Christmas, these men were doing up house party.
Well, I mean,
and I'm not talking about the app that came out during the pandemic. I'm talking about real house party.
Oh my God! You know what? That's how long it's been.
3 of them. Yeah.
House party came and went.
3 parties.
Oh, I thought it was just the one. They did 3.
Nah, them Tories. They were really living it up, boy.
They did the party.
One was even at Boris Nonsense's... Yes, I call him Boris Nonsense. Boris Nonsense's house. He had one at his house. Meanwhile, they were doing up... Please snitch on your neighbours if you find they're gathering.
Wait, what do you mean at his house? Number 10 is his house?
At his flat. No, he had a few...
Oh, mad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean... But this is why I don't watch the news, because these details, they don't mean nothing, but they're making me laugh. But they don't change the facts.
It was his PA that was busting jokes about it.
Yeah.
And that got released.
Clown.
And now, she's just a few hours ago, those of you listening, today is the day that we're recording this is the 8th of December, so it would make sense. By the time you guys see this on the 13th of December, it would make sense.
He would already have been found guilty.
It would have, right? But she did a little public announcement, bare crying tears.
Get out of here with these white tears.
Saying that she's resigned.
Oh, she just resigned like that because she dropped the ball.
I mean,
if that is not proof.
After they said there was no party.
If that is not proof.
There was no party, and even if there was one, it would have been socially distanced. But she clearly said in the footage that it wasn't socially distanced.
Yeah.
And then so she was like, they're crying, like, oh, I'm gonna always regret the comments that I made. Shut up. Just be quiet. Anyway, as of the 10th of December, everyone must wear masks in public venues, including theatres and cinemas.
Should have been standard anyway.
Which should have never gone, but okay.
Makes no sense.
Don't know why people want to be breathing each other's air. Like, no.
Because you don't need no other body.
If you don't be quiet.
Whoa. You know, it's especially that sound, that's breath. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's a good one. I hope my PCR test comes back negative. If it comes back positive,
when it comes back negative, I need to insert. There's so many jokes I wanted to say. I need to insert, but yeah, we'll wait.
We're inserting nothing. We're not inserting anything.
We'll wait.
And what's it? Oh yeah, and COVID passes are going to be mandatory as well in large
clubs and that,
in pubs and places with large crowds. But I mean, this is what I find strange, because every concert I went to last week, yes, I went to more than just the WizKid concert, but we moved
outside. I
was really out here. I was behaving like there was no COVID.
You was acting like it's not pandemic.
I don't. No regrets. But what was I even saying before you threw me off with that? Because I know you're really trying to go for me today.
I'm not.
What was I saying?
You was talking about being outside.
At the concerts that I went to, especially in the O2, you had to show your COVID pass or a negative lateral flow test result.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how do people...
Yeah, but the thing is, people are doing these tests themselves. You know, if you just download, if you download a lateral flow. If you have a lateral flow and then you just dip it in the water and then that's it. I've done it. Take your picture and rock and roll.
Did you say you've done it?
No, I'm saying as in anyone can just say I've done the test.
It. Okay, I just have to
Let's rock and roll because it's really that easy. You don't have to shove anything anywhere. You can just be dropping water, taking pictures and rolling. So
and there's people like me, honest citizens.
Yeah, but honesty is the minority. So you know what I'm saying? If you're thinking everyone's
COVID
rolling like that, this I know.
COVID passes will be mandatory now.
They said it from the beginning. It was always going to be mandatory from the first rumor, but no one wanted to accept it.
No, I wanted to hear it. But they still said something about they'll still accept negative lateral flow tests. But I think that's bullshit. I don't think they should accept lateral flow tests.
Well, technically, you'd have to have both because your passport shows that you've been vaccinated, but that doesn't make you immune. And then your lateral flow shows that you don't have it right now also.
And the lateral flow is not even reliable anyway. Because like I said, I know people that have taken the lateral flow test and then they've done
Listen,
PCR,
you know what, yeah?
And it's shown up positive.
Even though this is not an episode about COVID, but whilst we're still here, even to return to this country from abroad, there's bare companies that allow you to do your own lateral flow whilst abroad and take a picture, send them the picture of the completed lateral flow, and then they will send you back the certificate for you to re-enter this country. That's wild, isn't it? So if I'm telling you about the dishonesty of people who are already in this country who are just going to go to a concert, imagine people who are in places that are COVID affected, like heavily. Because all you need is that certificate. You're on the plane. And you're back.
That's mad.
So and when I saw how simple it was, I was like, bruv, there's no way we're getting rid of this COVID when all of these systems ain't even overlapping and anyone is doing any kind of...
They ain't making no sense.
Make no sense.
And then we'll be working from home as well now from the 13th of December as well. But apparently the it's not called the Omarion variant.
Omarion!
It's just a joke. It's just a joke.
Oh!
But apparently he's got a sister. This variant's got a sister.
Oh, already?
Mm.
The variant's got a spin-off.
Mm.
What's the sister called?
We don't know yet. But I'm just sick and tired of the whole COVID family. It needs to buzz off.
Man. Delta, Omicron. Yeah.
Yeah, all of them needs to go.
Here's what it is.
That's it. No more talk about COVID. We don't want to talk about COVID too much because people try to get away from COVID.
Let's get
into it. So, then, what do you want to unpick today?
Today, I was thinking we should unpick what it's like to be a youth. Man said a youth. That's a Y-O-U-T.
That's showing your age, by the way.
You get me. In 2022, I'm gonna call it, versus what it was like being a youth when we were kids, when we had youth on our side.
The creme de la creme days.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about you, but I still got youth on my side.
Jeez. Listen, I've been to the gym recently. I've seen how much youth has left my side. Man, it's all huffing and puffing and panting in the middle of the class. It's not a good look.
What classes do you do?
Boot camp. Because I'm a soldier, you get me?
Okay, relax.
Relax, Joe. Yeah. Man's a soldier
out.
still, so I've been doing boot camp. And yeah, man, it's been taking me out. I'm getting better though. Like, I've done 4 weeks in a row.
Okay.
And last week the class wasn't too hard, but I actually performed better anyway. So this Saturday I will know what's really going on.
Where I go gym, but I ain't doing no classes.
Why not?
I'm trying to. I don't like classes. I used to do classes all the time.
Neither.
But at the moment, I've got like a personalized plan.
Okay.
That I'm on, yeah, because I'm trying to grow a BBL in the gym.
I respect it.
It's not easy, but
I respect it. You know what? Yeah, actually, I should. I'll find out what the fiance uses, because she had this thing. It was a proper workout plan called the Brazilian something. Maybe it was called the Brazilian butt lift, but it was a workout regime. It wasn't. It obviously wasn't the injections and thing. And it was noticeable ASAP, to the point where she stopped, and I was like, "No, continue." Moving. So I'll find out what it was called, and then
I'll put you on, sis. Put me on. Put your home slice on.
Legit. We gotta get this bread.
Wait a minute. In my intro, did I say it's your home slice Dami Zayn?
I don't know, you know.
Where? Well, guys, it's your home slice Dami Zayn and that.
Jeez.
Okay, so we're gonna compare there's a discrepancy in our age.
Hey.
But we'll move like when we were playing outside back in the days, we would have been playing outside together.
Okay.
So
I'm
we're
the
comparing.
Younger one, by the way. I'm the younger one.
Don't try and lie, man. Don't try and lie. Don't try and lie. I'm the younger one.
Can't you tell? Okay.
I mean, I look like I'm 26.
And I look like I'm 25, so, you know, what we say?
I don't know about 25.
What we say? Don't make me show them the DMs, you know.
Got receipts. That's
funny. I know what I'm saying. I got receipts.
I got receipts too. Whenever guys move to me, and then I'm like, they're like, how old are you? I'm like, how old do you think I am? They're like, 26.
Mad.
Oh, you're so cute. Thank you.
Mad. That is not the, you know, if a girl said that to me, right? I think I might just stop there, you know. That is a techie question. Because what if you're wrong? You know what? Literally only once in my life, I wasn't moving to anyone, though. But I was like socializing with these girls, two of them. And like towards the end of that day, they were like, oh, so like, how old do you think we are? Who do you think is older? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, nah, don't do this. This is not my game. Like, this is not my strong point. Yeah. So I had to look at them. I'm staring at them. I'm like, damn, well, she definitely looks older than her. But ages, I don't know. Why was I completely wrong? The one who looked older was actually the younger one, for starters. Ooh. And then the ages, I was like, damn.
When guys try and flip the script and ask me to guess their age, it's a wrap. I can't do it. But I like asking people to, because I get a thrill from it.
That's
like
pressure, man.
Oh, you look 20, you look 26, 25. I'm like,
yeah, but if you say to a girl that she looks like mad young, then it's offensive. I'm like, you know what I mean? There's a certain amount of years that you can be wrong.
You didn't clock the response. Just better talking over it. I'm like, thank you. And when I don't have makeup on, one time I didn't have makeup on, and these schoolboys, 18-year-olds, were like, you're on your way to college? I said, college?
Damn. I'll work full time, cuz.
And I went to uni twice. So it's not even college. I was like, my youngest sibling isn't even in college anymore.
Damn.
How about that?
In fact,
yeah.
Like, no. I'm wrong.
They're like, how old are you? I was like 30. Like,
that was mad whispering. I didn't even hear it. You did that nice.
Practice. I was like, say that again. I said, just be going. I'm not looking for a sugar baby. I'm not a cougar.
Now you wouldn't vibe like that at all.
Not now.
Well, now you're booed up, but
later in life, who's booed up?
Oh, sorry.
Damn.
Sorry.
Single till married.
Okay.
That's my thing.
I hear it. What was your experience like playing out and playing in?
Oh, mate, playing out was fantastic. These kids ain't got playing out now. Back in the day, yeah, like, I would do all my chores so I can go outside, take my bike out. Mum would be like, oh, don't go past certain place. I'm like, yeah, sure, Mum, yeah. I'm gone. With my friends.
Not listening to no rules, boy.
Listen, because there was community. And like, if you lived in ends, any ends, whether that's south, north, east, I can't speak for west because I don't consider west as ends. You know,
it was different over there.
If you lived in ends, you know that everyone knew everyone. So, like, and you knew your friends' parents, and they knew your parents. So if anything went funny. You was more protected to an extent.
Oh, definitely. Like, I think for me, the biggest visual difference just with regards to playing out is that, like, outside now, generally speaking, if you see people gathering, it's more of a hood vibe and more of a gang vibe. They're not necessarily a gang, and they're not necessarily shotting, but that's more the vibe, no matter the age. But when we were kids, like, literally all the kids from all the houses were playing together and chilling together, in my estate anyway. And like, all the parents knew all the kids who would be with their kid. Like, everybody knew each other's children. They knew who should be outside. So long as certain people were outside, you were allowed to play because they were slightly older or whatever. It was a bit more of a community where even playing outside was still not based on your household, but like your family was very much involved in some respect in you playing outside with the other people. Like, everybody had some kind of knowing of, oh yeah, so-and-so's outside. Yeah, cool. Yeah, go and play. Whereas now I only see man them. outside. Really, I don't see I don't see little girls outside playing.
No. There was more.
I'm just trying to think about it. Like I literally can't. I can't think of the last time I saw like little girls and boys outside, just everybody just playing.
I think the reason why it was like that back in the day is because of the community that we had. So like every parent, like not every parent, but everyone felt responsible for each other to an extent. And people were also not as scared, I think, because I think there was less awareness of what could potentially happen to you outside. So, for example, like there's always been risk of children being abducted. There's always been risk of people joining gangs. There's always been risk of someone being assaulted, or whether that's violently or sexually outside. Yeah, that's always been there. But because it's not because on social media you see everything, and it seems to feel like it's happening more because we see it more, because there's more visibility. More visibility. So now I think because of that, that's played a hand in people being less okay with their children playing outside. Whereas in our time, because it wasn't in your face so much, there wasn't so much visibility, it was something I reckon that was at the back of our parents' mind. Like my parents were still kind of strict. I played outside, but it wasn't like all the time, and it was only certain people I could play with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that the reason why we were able to play out, and you saw more girls outside, more younger people outside as well, was one, because less visibility of these things meant that people felt safer. So there's that whole notion of, people have this notion that it was safer back in the day, but I don't think that's actually true. I just think there was less visibility. And then secondly, the toys and stuff that we were playing with, the games we were playing were not virtual. Like, we come from the era of AOL dial-up internet. Like, you weren't going on... Imagine having dial-up internet now. You are not playing your PS5 virtually with dial-up internet. It's not going to happen.
No, like, that's impossible.
At some point, your mom's going to get a phone call and the internet is done.
Their memories there.
And I can still hear the sound of
I know what the internet sounds like.
Like the startup.
The sound of online.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back when we didn't have Google, we had Ask Jeeves.
And Jeeves didn't know nothing.
And Jeeves knew fuck all.
You'll be asking Jeeves for time. Jeeves, bruv, where'd you get your information?
Jeeves was basically Wikipedia. You know that, right? Yeah,
but Wikipedia has the answers. Jeeves had none.
But what I'm trying to say is, it worked the same way. In that
Jeeves was worse than Sway.
I could go on Ask Jeeves and answer a question.
You don't have the answers, Jeeves.
As facts.
You ain't got the answers.
Just like Wikipedia, I could go on Wikipedia right now and start writing shit about someone.
Yeah. Jeeves was none the wiser, boy. There's a reason why Jeeves ain't here today. God bless his soul. He was old when he started. They actually used that old man because they knew he was going to die. Before the internet.
He was a butler. Jeeves was a butler.
He was an old butler. He had
the tray thing. Do you remember?
And what was in that tray?
Nothing.
He was serving everybody no information.
He was serving everyone air. Ask Jeeves.
Damn. Jeeves was about to change the world. Yo, Jeeves, what's blah, 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 blah. Now will give you 20 pages about nothing. I was like, yo, what is this? Wow, that's a throwback. Jeez.
That's what I'm saying. So we didn't have internet like these lot have internet. So we had to actually physically play with people. Like, you had to go outside to play football. You weren't playing FIFA inside.
No, but the thing is, I think I was doing both. That's the thing. Like that.
No, but because we had PlayStation.
But that's why I said play Nintendo out and play in as well. Because the one other thing that I noticed is bare times, you'll see man them on the street in the rain, in the snow, blah, blah, blah. Like, But these men like almost aren't allowed in each other's houses, if you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, the C word that we said we weren't going to talk about has played a big.
No, I mean before.
Before that, I think people were still like for example, if we could just go to video games alone, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like in our time, you'd go to your friend's house and you would have 2 controllers at least, and you would play the game on one console. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Play it
On one screen, everyone chop it up.
Everyone chop it up, like, and even up to uni. When did I start uni? 08, 09? Back then, when FIFA was like popping, yeah, proper, and like I chill with like the guys, and they would all be playing FIFA together in one room, or playing COD in one room. Now you do it all online. So now with the new consoles, yeah, you can't even go to your friend's house and play the console in one room.
No, you can. It just depends on the game. It depends on the game. I
thought that you had to, like, both of you would need to have your own separate PS5, your own controller.
You don't need to have your own controller, but certain games, yeah, the what they call it, like couch play. Couch play is not as big as it once was, because that was the only form of play. So like obviously back in the day, they used to try and build consoles to be able to fit more controllers so more people can play in the same place, and games have more of that appeal, whereas now they're just like make games so that anybody who enjoys it can play with anybody who enjoys it in the world, because that just means everybody can play it for longer basically and anytime. But back in the day, I used to play games with the mandem. Like I used to go out, play out with the mandem, go out and about, try draw gal, all of that kind of crap, climb up the walls here, break into this like a derelict building here, like all that kind of mad stuff. And then we'll go back to someone's house and someone's mum might have cooked, and then we'll chill, eat food, play games. But like it was a full circle thing.
You've unlocked a memory of summertime. Playing out was lit.
It was litty.
It'll be like, okay, who's gonna ask their mum for ice lollies? Who's asking their mum for ice poles? Because if you ask for ice pole, everyone's getting an ice pole.
And it was mad.
Everyone's getting an ice pole. Everyone. And like you'd be like at home on a Saturday, and it'll get to like a certain time, and then your friend will knock on the door. Can Danny play out? These kids don't know about that. They don't know about
the rejection of when the parent just looks at you and says, no, you're not playing out today.
Not playing outside. Wow. Now they have to do play dates, like proper. Like, okay, bring your kids round, or I'll bring my kids, or I'll take them out. They didn't experience the joy of, I'm just gonna take my scooter or my bike outside, play for time. I'm gone.
Time, man.
Time. Come back, mum. Can I have an ice pole? All your friends are behind you. Yeah. Sure. Everyone's getting an ice pole. We used to do the rounds as well. Get ice pole from my mum. Then after
go and collect.
Half an hour, collect from so and so's mum. And because you was in ends as well, and most of it's like flats. So if anything's going on downstairs, all it takes is for like one of your friends' mum to look out the window, and they're like, "Wait, it's not like that anymore, man. Now everyone minds their business. Everyone is
proper divided.
It's either they're minding their business, not looking like they don't want to get involved, or they're filming it.
Yeah, the
and
extremes.
Not actually getting involved.
Yeah, the extremes. But there's definitely, just from my opinion, I guess if there's any young people that's watching this, I beg, just clarify whether what I think I'm seeing is the truth, because I don't see.
We actually don't know. Like,
I don't see it. Like, I know what it looked like, and I don't see it. Literally, I used to walk through my estate, any of my brethren's estates, or any of the estates on the way to my house. From any direction, there was always bare people outside, bare, just doing madness. And not even in a beef way where I'm walking past and they're screwing me, or I'm walking past and they're saying, what's up? They weren't even seeing me, because they were doing them, like just having fun, doing what kids do or people do in their ends. Like, I don't see it.
But the whole experience for them is totally, even in school, the whole experience is different. Like, now, if you were getting bullied, you were getting physically bullied only. like when I was in secondary school, internet was just coming up. Like obviously we had MSN, we had MySpace, so you could catch a little bit of bullying there, you know.
I never experienced it.
But I got bullied.
On like digitally?
Yeah, online.
Early. So your bullies were the pioneers.
They were the pioneers of
online,
this online bullying. Yeah.
Madness. So how was that experience? Yeah, how was that experience?
It was wild because I went from primary school where if they're gonna bully you, it's physical, like it's face to face, in your face, in class, to people talking about you online and you've got no control over it. And I remember going to my mum and telling her about it. She's like, "Oh, let's go to the police." But what's the police gonna do?
So what was the, like, without going into detail, what was the scenario like? Was it MySpace?
No, they actually created like some high five page.
Oh man, high five.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. I know high five. I was on my high five and like Black Chat.
Yeah, man.
Them way there.
Because okay, basically, I'll give you the tea. I'll give you guys the tea. I'm cool to be transparent about it. But basically, I lived in Hackney, and in Hackney, nobody could talk to me.
Jeez.
No one.
See the eyes as well.
No one, because I was in a group.
Okay.
And it was a group of girls and a group of guys, and we all looked after each other, if that makes sense. So I was I was protected. No one was talking. No one was messing with me because I'm not proud of it. But we were the bullies of the school, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like if anyone tried it, we were the ones that were like, and I could be very leery. So it happened, and then because I was mixing with the wrong crowd and getting in trouble a lot, we moved to Essex when I was like 13, 14. And in Essex, I was one of 3 black people in my school.
Damn.
The other 2 blacks that were...
The other 2 blacks?
The other 2 black people in my school.
Yeah.
They were born and bred in Essex, right? So
they knew how to navigate those waters.
The way they spoke, their culture was totally different.
Yeah.
The way they do community is totally different. And there's me coming from Hackney. Strong accent, like talking, all the talk, everything, demeanor, everything. And I've always come across as super confident. Even when I'm not. I've always been like that. In school, I used to walk bare, like, can't have chat for me. That's how I used to move. Yeah, I used to move like that. And in my school in Essex, they brought me down to size. They were like, "No, you're the minority here." And I was racially bullied.
Yeah.
So, we'll talk about racism another time, but I know racism was and still is very much present.
Of course.
I learned about racism in school. And they created a page where they spoke about how I was fat and this, that, got big lips, blah, blah. I'm thinking, okay, but these are the same girls now that have duck lips.
Would you like to log into your high five, please?
And I'm doing that BBL or going to the gym to get a big bum.
And doing racial ambiguity. Anyway.
I lied, tanning. But they were, in Essex, they were doing up orange tan from when I was in school. Like, so that's what happened. And I remember I hated it. I was like, why did you guys move me, man? Like, I was happy in Hackney. Like, I felt like I belonged. And I was playing outside in Hackney. As soon as we moved to Essex, I wasn't playing outside no more.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
I was playing in a garden. But in ends, I was playing outside. And even like every other weekend, I'd go to like my grandmother's house, my mum's mum, to play. And she lived in Kingsmead Estate.
Okay, yeah, I know Kingsmead.
Not far from Homerton, innit?
Yeah.
And I was protected there too. Because my mum's younger brother was known He wasn't in a gang or anything, but he was just known. Like, everyone knew my grandma's house.
That's the thing, though. I mean, in Hackney, that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, like, and he wasn't older. So if, like, when I'm playing outside, he'd come out and they'd be like, "Oh, that's so and so's niece. You can't try nothing with me over there." Back then, so I used to walk around like I was like the princess of the land, because I was like, you lot, I could leave my bike in one place and no one would dare touch it, because it was like, no, that's so and so's niece.
Yeah, exactly.
Her grandma lives at blah blah blah. So I used to play out in ends, but when I got to Essex, it was like, no. And my brother and my sister, they did primary school in Essex. They didn't do play outside.
Yeah, they just don't even know it.
They didn't even get to experience that feeling of all the kids in the estate are friends, and even if you're not all friends, there's little cliques. You chill. Yeah. They didn't get that. If they wanted to play out, it was, let's take them to the park and they can ride their bike around and play with their friends in the park, and then they go home.
See, this is the only thing, right, about moving into the upper echelon, which I'm doing. But it's the only thing that I don't like about it, because I feel like community is really important to children, man, and their like upbringing and their understanding of other people and cultures, and I think like myself, I think I'm really flexible and accommodating of people in their very many different forms. And I mean all sorts of different forms, like whether it be sexuality or religious beliefs or cultural differences or even disabilities, because as a child I experienced growing up and rubbing cheeks with all of these people in some way based on how I was living. In my estate, there was myself being like black African, but having, when I was growing up, far more Caribbean family around. So it's black African and also Caribbean, then having Caribbean neighbors who are from different islands, which is very different. Having Chinese neighbors, Indian neighbors that are Muslim, Turkish neighbors, Kurdish neighbors, all in close proximity, Sikh neighbors who had beef with the Muslim neighbors, who the Turks had beef with the Kurds, and learning about all of these different tensions between these different communities, as well as how they do things, etc. Going to a school where I didn't even know my school was special. My primary school was a special school that had extra added facilities for deaf children. So I had loads of deaf children in my class. I thought everybody had deaf children in their class. I thought that was normal. So there's my class, and then there was about 3 or 4 people in my class who were also doing sign language, and then they have a special teacher with them, and etc. etc. So all of these things to me are just normal. So I'm learning how to communicate with all of these people. I never learned sign language. That's a crime. I didn't understand when my school didn't teach it. It's only when I was an adult. Looking back, I was like, wait, I went to a special school and I don't know how to do sign language. And I had deaf people in my class. That is ridiculous. But that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah. And like, if I now elevate myself to this mansion that I'm planning to buy in Cockfosters, 1.2 million, it bangs, 5-bedroom. Anyway.
It's happening.
I'll show you at some point in time. Then, yeah, ultimately, my children won't get that, because those people won't be right beside them. Do you know what I'm saying? Everybody beside them basically going to be white. So that's what they're walking out and seeing neighbors' experience is going to be like. Their school experience is going to be like, yeah, it's just white kids. Because any school that's in that area is going to be predominantly white anyway, because it's on the suburbs rather than the city centre. And then their whole childhood just looks rubbish in comparison to mine, as far as I'm concerned. Like, I want them to have the best in life.
The thing is,
I think culture is the best.
For them, that's gonna be the childhood that they have, and they're gonna look back on it and feel like, I mean, all adults look back at their childhood and think, oh, my childhood was lit. But because you've experienced your childhood, you're gonna think, nah, yours is a bit dry compared. Like, when I talk to my brother, I'm always, and he must get so annoyed with me, because I'm like, no, you didn't live.
You haven't lived.
You haven't. I'm like, you didn't live. You didn't, because the childhood we had, yeah, Like, it was just fun. It was fun. I don't see how only seeing your friends if your parents take you to the park to play with them, or playing remotely. They've been doing remote life from early.
Yeah.
I don't see how that is fun compared to physically leaving your house, riding your bike to how many estates away from your home, you know, like chilling with people, like getting to know people in your wider community, and then feeling like you're safe, because even though you're not at home, and anyone can come and tell you that what you're doing is not correct or whatever, or look out for you, and then you do it all again the next day.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't get how, and I think people's social skills now is effed up because
this is what I was gonna get to.
Because they don't actually get to experience going outside and actually physically like dealing with people. Yeah, everyone's got chat online.
No, I think another problem with it as well is like, us being social creatures, human beings, we're always going to end up socializing. But I think where there isn't as much opportunity for people to socialize with no agenda, I guess it leads to a lack of development of people's just having good social skills with no agenda. So like, I think people go from like being school age, where they're just, everything is, you know, an experience, to them becoming like more teenage. And then I think at the teenage part, where we would have just been playing out, you know what I mean, ramping, being adventurous, being dangerous, and then also maturing and going through puberty. I think people have less of everything else and just experience going through puberty a bit more. So now when they come out of that, it's a lot more focused on relationships and the sexual element of socializing more than anything. Because I think when I look at Instagram, at least, I think there's a lot more sex or sexual energy coming from the younger people than I was expressing at that time. Not that I wasn't feeling it, but I wasn't expressing it to that level because I was also engaged in so many other things. Like I was playing basketball, I was doing gymnastics, I was learning how to like do street dance, I was hitting up the community centers, and I was doing so much other things. And I was like, if I see the right girl, then she's like feeling me, you know, then I might try to think. But if not, like calm, because I'm doing X, Y, Z, like my list is long. But I feel like a lot of the things that I see looks like it's geared towards sex. Like people are doing actions that are positioning them better for that sexual interaction.
I definitely think that younger people seem older or come across older now. I don't know if that is down solely to the fact that we were doing stuff like playing out and going to youth centres or not. Or if that is down to the internet and the fact that there is more visibility on more than just dangerous stuff. There's more visibility on things like porn and sexual material, other sexual material.
Yeah, but I don't think porn ages you though. I think it ages your mentality. Yeah, I mean, it speaks.
That's what I'm saying. But I don't know what is causing it, because I'm pretty sure that our parents probably looked at us and thought, you lot seem a bit older than what we were when we were that age.
No, I get the opposite. My dad is always like, you know, at your age I was blah 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 blah. At your age I was a dad, I was a father, I was a this. I was like,
no, but that's more when you get to your teens.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking younger, like, you know. When
Sorry,
you're like
I was
13.
talking more I was talking more teenage. Yeah, I was talking like more.
So like, I'm thinking like 10. You know that young teenage time when you're like 13, 14, 15, 16. Like, I feel like that age group seem a lot older than what we were when we were that
a lot
age.
harder.
A lot older. Like, I'm seeing some girls, I'm like, are you sure you're 15? Because you look like you could pass for an 18-year-old. Like, even how they do their makeup, how they dress.
Yeah, no.
I won't look at makeup at 13. Like,
there's definitely a whole issue with how young women, because I guess you have to call them women, or young girls until they're 16, how they're presenting.
They're definitely
and how their parents
themselves.
are allowing. I think there's definitely something wrong that needs to be addressed.
Sorry,
because
my eye keeps watering. I don't know if that's because of this.
You're crying because the words I'm speaking.
It's so it's moving me, man.
It's moving.
It's the nostalgia. I'm just like, oh God, let's go back to those times.
No, but on a serious note, like I think it's really damaging for both young girls and for young boys how some young women are presenting proper mature, proper sexualized or sexualizing themselves, and I think it's damaging for both them and for the young boys, because one, it obviously shapes the opinion of other girls around them who now feel like they have to either conform or they're going to fall on the wayside because they're not going to be the center of attention when they're not competing, if you know what I mean.
I mean, when they grow up, I don't believe in glow ups, but when they grow up, but I all the girls I know that seemed older beyond their years physically, if you see them now, it's like, wow. No one's saying that you look like you're 26, sis. Shade. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like the youth now are not really being youth.
Yeah, they're not capitalizing on the young part.
They need to capitalize, because you're gonna get older and then you're gonna be like, "Rah, I've been doing this old life for a long time."
But then I think that kind of goes hand in hand with the lack of resources available to them, like youth centers, after school clubs, you know, that kind of thing. There really isn't as much as I had available, because I used to do everything. I used to go to my after school club, basketball club,
all the
street dance, choir.
Yeah.
I did so much for free.
And that's where you met. That's why I made so many friends. Like, I made friends outside of my class because I was going to dance classes, arts. I was doing like all the arts, basically, like drama school. I did like because I can like paint and draw and stuff like that, so I was doing like art classes out after school as well. Played netball with the netball team. Like, I did so many different things. And yeah, it was free, but I guess now everything's more expensive, and the government, let's not even go there, but you know, that they've cut all that out, so they're missing out on that. But because of that, plus the whole, you know, if you lived in ends especially, it was more free to hang out outside on a weekend with your mates. I had more friends. I had friends that maybe didn't go to the same school as me because we went to clubs.
Yeah.
Or I met other people from other schools when we would compete. So like, let's say we're doing like my school versus another school at netball, I meet other people that way.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, like on weekends, not everyone that lived in my estate went to the same school and stuff. So I would be friends with more than just people from my class or from my school. And that's how I was able to sorry.
It's not COVID.
Well, at this point it could be. That's how I was able to like get to know different people within our black community, though. Within the ethnic minorities. Yeah. Within the ethnic minority community. Because when I went to that school in Essex, I learnt that you don't know how to mix with white people. Because in ends, I was mixing with white people that were from ends.
Yeah, so it's a completely different experience. It's a completely different experience. Yeah. White people in ends understand the dynamic of being inclusive of minority groups and their cultures and working within the same restraint, because they now find themselves also as a minority, if you see what I'm saying, in how it's like in Hackney when I was growing up, white people were not the majority of the school, or at least they were not a majority like in reflection to white people in this country. where they make up like 96% of the population. In my school, it was definitely not that. And yeah, white people in schools in ends, they get it because they have to, because they're in a similar predicament of not being a majority. So you're just working with everyone, if you know what I mean. You're experiencing everything together. Outside of that scenario, when you are a majority, it's just not part of your culture to be including everyone. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not even saying it like, I'm not even saying you've done a bad thing, because you've just not thought about something that's not really there, displayed in such a way that you should be thinking about it. And that's why this conversation has come up, you know what I mean, in the middle of lockdown. It's like, we need representation. We need inclusivity, because it's not happening.
I don't know if the white people in ends really understood.
No, but
I think they just thought it was cool.
Oh yeah, of course.
Remember, like there's this notion of, if you're from ends, I mean, even I did it just earlier when I was like, oh yeah, like when I was in ends, no one could chat to me. There's this like chip on your shoulder that comes with coming from ends. And let's face it, being black especially is cool. Like, we are trailblazers. We start off trends. Everybody wants to be like us. Like, what we have naturally that they might take the piss out of today, tomorrow
fashion. It's fashion tomorrow.
I spoke about my big lips. People were pumping their lips all over the gaff to achieve something that I just naturally have, right? And so, like, I don't think it was really that they understood. I think they just thought, oh, it's cool to be like them. So, you know, that's why we had a lot of... Everybody knew a white person that was trying to be black.
Yeah, of course. And they'll lay their edges with the curls.
Doing bunny fingers. And they'll lay it. And remember back in the days when girls used to, like, put pens in their hair? Like,
yeah.
You fatten the hair, like, you put your hair up, you fan it, you put, like, the pens in there, lollipops. And you had white girls that had no afro, no curl whatsoever, straight up and down hair, doing swoop-de-swoops, hoops, and putting pens and lollipops in their hair because they thought they, you know, and they want to they want to get with the black guys. You know, they want to get with the Aarons and
you know, when I was in school, I don't think no white girls wanted to get with the black guys. It didn't appear that way anyway.
No, they did. They wanted the lighties though.
Yeah. Definitely not. My complexion,
which I think proves my point. Which I think proves my point that it wasn't that they understood. It was like, it's cool. We want to be like them.
I want to get a part of it.
It was a fetish. You know, so that's what I think it was. And I could be a cynic because, like I said, when I went to an all-white school, I learned. They don't like me. But at that point, it's not cool to be me because I'm the only one. It wasn't cool.
Yeah.
So to them, it was like, you're so like ghetto because you're from what they consider to be the ghetto. But
then, but there's a social dynamic there as well, because I'm going to assume that the people in Essex, a big assumption, but I'm going to assume that they were, you know, more well-to-do.
Not
more
necessarily.
well-to-do.
There's low-class white
just
people.
More. No, just more well-to-do than their white equivalents from ends.
I don't agree.
That's my opinion for sure.
Yeah, I don't agree. I think there was a few more. There was a few. I mean, there was more. The ratio of well-to-do white people to not well-to-do white people in Essex at that time the ratio was off. There was way more that had P's. Their parents owned their homes. They weren't living in council houses, but there was still quite a few of them that came from council flats.
No, there has to be.
And stuff like that, and even they thought they were better than me because at least they were white.
Yeah.
And they weren't from Hackney, and all they knew about Hackney was we were all gangsters and we were all committing crimes and stuff like that. And they didn't realize that. First of all, I'm African. I'm an eldest born Nigerian daughter. There's no room for gang. What's gang? My parents were strict, boy.
The only crime Dami is committing is killing all of these tests.
I'm telling you, if I wasn't getting A, it's a problem. What are you talking about? That's why they moved me, because they were like, oh yeah, I'm mixing with wrong. And do you know what? Let me tell you people's story. It's funny. I can laugh about it now.
Damn.
But me and my friends at lunchtime, basically the way they used to do it in our school, we went to Stokey. Still knowing.
Oh, you went to Stokey?
Yeah. So the way they used to do it, was only year 10 and 11s could go out of the building at lunchtime.
Yeah, for lunch. Yeah.
All of us youths, we had to do lunch on the school premises. But we thought we were bad. We were like, nah, those rules don't pertain to us. We can do what we want. We run this school.
Mad.
We kind of did, but, So every lunchtime for months, we were going down to the chip shop on the end of the road. I forget the name of the chip shop.
Millennium or something
like that. Yeah, that's it. And we'd get a kebab, and then we'd come up, and then we'd go into the park. So they had like the swimming pool, and then you go past it, and then you go to the park.
Yeah.
So we'd go in the park. We'd have our kebab in the park, and then we'd sneak back into school. And Stokey never had uniform in it, so everyone looked. So you could get away with it because it's like year 10s and year 11s ain't wearing uniform. No one's wearing uniform, so
they got uniform now.
Oh yeah, but back then no uniform was lit. So anyway, so yeah, one day we found out. I was in science class. I'll never forget. It was in science lesson, and we found out that the teachers saw us and knew that we left the building. And we caught wind that they were going to write to our parents. I was shitting bricks. Because, as far as my parents were concerned, I go to school and I don't leave the premises until it's time to come home. So I went home, and we have to talk. I feel like we have to talk about the fact that we have to talk about the whole how children, black kids, especially African kids, we code switch, but we code switch more than just code switching for other cultures. We code switch at home as well. Because the way that you move at school with your boys and your friends is not how you're moving at home.
It's different.
I came home, I started helping mum in the kitchen because that was my thing. I had to do that as the eldest born. So I was in the kitchen, and my mum noticed this girl's moving a bit different today. She's not her usual self.
Yeah.
So she was like, Tammy, how was school? I was like, school was okay. I was very anxious because I was like, I need to tell her myself. I don't want her to get the letter. I have to tell her myself. So that when the letter comes, I've already done the preamble. Do you know what I mean? I've already
you sorted it. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, my friends are fine. So she started naming them. How is so. I was like, yeah. She's like, you're not your normal bubbly self. What's going on? What happened in school today? Like, oh yeah, mum. Yeah, at lunchtime we went to the kebab shop and we went to the park. Mum said, you did what? I said, yeah, we went to the park. She said, but you're not in year 10. I said, yeah, I know. Me and my friend, she said, oh. So you started sleeping with boys.
0 to 100.
I don't know how we got there.
Wow.
I don't know how we got there.
The only reason you could possibly want to go to the park.
She said, I'm going to call your dad. She called my dad. Lecture. So, you think you're a big woman now? What, because we let you go to school by yourself? So now you go to school and you're leaving the building, you're bunking off school. I said, I'm not bunking, I don't miss lessons. I don't miss lessons. Nah, it was that was the first strike. The second strike, I can't even remember. That is so bad. I must have lost it from my memory. And they called my parents into the school with the other kids' parents in it. And my mum and dad was like, so this is the crowd you want to be hanging out with? So they were like, we're moving her. Because I was really good with my grades. I was really good, you know, and the teachers were doing the whole, Dammy's got potential. She's so smart. She's lovely on a one-to-one. But when she's with her friends, she's a different person.
Yeah, they always, you know what the thing is? Teachers know how to sing it. Sing the right tune to just your
so parents. My parents were like, it's your friends that are bad influence. They didn't know that me too, I was ringleader.
Yeah, of course.
They're like, no, it's her friends. They're like, no, they're bullying her into, you know. Then they tried to do the whole, we don't want you to talking to them anymore. That didn't work because me too. I wanted to be part of the hello, like, oh, no way. So they just said, we're moving you. That's it. It was the best thing. I appreciate it now.
No, of course.
Because when I'll be honest, when I look back at it, yeah, we were doing some stupid stuff like getting into fights unnecessarily, disruptive in class, and like I was cheeky. I was one of those students that
I was terrible.
I did all my work. Don't ever get it twisted. I'd be the person that's like, I ain't done my homework, but I did it though. I ain't studied, but I studied though. So you'd be thinking, this girl is just here to waste everyone's time. She's doing class clown. Because I'm stubborn. I know I'm stubborn. So like, and I was a smart aleck as well. So I was the kind of person that'd be bare chatting. Damn, shut up, be quiet. I'd be like, all right, cool. But when you read my name in the register, I'm not gonna respond to you because you told me to be quiet. I was that person. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you tell me to leave the class, and I'd like crack jokes from outside. So no one's paying attention to your class anymore because you sent me out. So because you sent me out, everybody now is not gonna pay attention. I was that person. Very, very, very mischievous, right? But so people would think, oh, Dami doesn't really care for school, but I was studying at home and I was getting the grades. So when it came to parents, you did, they were like, no, Dami's mad, intelligent, you know, she's a bit chatty, she can be a bit cheeky.
Always got that, man. I always got that.
When she's with her friends, she's a different person, but she's got potential. So my parents are like, no, education comes first, and I'm grateful for it, you know, to be honest. I'm grateful for it, but the racism I experienced in school when I moved was
just next
and
level.
It stayed with me because even when I started working, when I went to uni, I made sure I went to a uni that was predominantly black, that had a strong black community, Brunel and that.
Jeez.
And back then, I remember going to see Brunel on camp before I applied, and I just seen bare black people, and I said, this is home, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm not gonna go somewhere where there's bare white people. I'm not doing it. And then when I started working, and the reality is, in the real world,
don't look like that, man.
It doesn't work that way. You gotta know how to mix with everybody. So I went into the workforce thinking I can't trust white people. I don't like white people. Now, obviously, I got white friends and that. But when I first started, like 10 years ago or more now, forget it. I was like, no, I don't really. It was like a us and them situation. But that's because of what I experienced in school.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Everything that happens in school, it stays with you, or not necessarily experience in school. Everything that you experience growing up stays with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just to bring it full circle, that's where this I think that needs to be the focus, at least for the black community, because I see a lot of, as an outsider, I see a lot of what I think is foundations of community for other communities, where they have like their town halls or their town centers, whatever you want to call them, where they actually attend, like people from the community actually attend with their kids, and they socialize more than school, you know what I mean? Like Sikh people go to the Sikh center, and then they meet other Sikh families and Sikh kids, and you know what I mean? They have that community. And then the same with the Turks, and they have their Saturday school where they teach their Turkish children to speak Turkish with other Turkish people. Doesn't matter what school you're from. And then, and I just look at the black community, I'm like, where's our thing?
Our thing was stuff like dance club, like
no. What was it? Not what was it? Where is it?
Because it's gone. It's gone.
And I don't know. Again, I'm saying this as an outsider, but my opinion is that the Turks own the Turkish center. You know what I mean? That then puts on the Saturday school, and they probably pay for the Saturday school, but ultimately it then funds them to keep the building to then help their Turkish community stay connected outside of any other institution, if you know what I mean. And I look at all of the things that I did that I consider to be the black things, like the gospel choir or the street dance or the music production spaces. Not that I was into music production when I could have done it for free, but it was available.
Yeah.
All of those things were actually owned by the government. and then subsidized and given to my community. But my community hasn't. Even Ocean, all the black events, all the black. Oh my God! But where's Ocean? The government's like, no, we're not doing this, blah, blah, blah. And then they can just take it away. And I'm like, yeah, so where's the stuff that my community gives to my community? Where's that stuff?
The responsibility is now on us.
It was always ours. But we were just happy to be taking handouts. This is, for me, it's a personal gripe with the black community. It's always handouts all day, every day. Never, let's make something together.
And it's like, and I'm even speaking to myself here, to be honest. We're here saying how, we're here kind of going down memory lane of the things that we had, which may not have always been great, but we still had it and we appreciate it, and it's molded us. And we can see that it's stuff that's decreased over time. And we are still not stepping, there's not enough of us stepping into the space of saying, you know what? We benefited from this.
Yeah, let's build this.
Let's build it for our younger generation. We have a responsibility. We're the olders now.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm 100% in that conversation and trying to think of like the best ways to do it. Because I've had ideas. I know people who work in this space who are doing it. But it needs to be more than one. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you think of the amount of youth centers we've lost, the deficit of what is missing versus what we need to put back is huge.
I feel like we've lost a lot of those like youth centers and stuff like that to gentrification to an extent.
I'd say to an extent,
because they've used those buildings for other things, like their jazzy cafes and you know what I mean, like those things like that. Yeah.
But I mean, when the building is not owned, like what do you want them to do? Like if I'm holding on to some land that's like serving a community and making X, but I can just put it into like retail or I can put it into housing and it's gonna net me more. I'm not holding on to the space for any community unless that community serves me, which is why I'm saying, where's the black people that are like, yeah, we've seen that. I mean, you can see it. It's night and day. The amount of like trouble the youth have been getting into, if you compare like 10 years ago versus now, and if you kind of draw parallels between youth services and those crime rates, then you will see that they're aligned. The less services they have, the less interaction they have with mentors and elders who are not family members who can help guide them, etc., or just give them spaces to express themselves, whether it be artistically or learn skills.
Those youth centres did more than just give us a space to express ourselves, because like even down to career advice and helping you put your CV together, helping you to apply for like things like UCAT, for like your UCAS application for school and stuff. I got all of that from like youth support.
There was loads in it. And like I don't
actually know if those things still exist today.
I mean, one of my youth centers does, because I literally decided to just have a random walk because I knew a lot of the staff. I even ended up working there, not for the company itself, but like working in the space for other companies. So one day I was like, I need to just go and have a look, and it was still there, and I couldn't believe it. And it's leveled up in a sense, but also the community has also reduced. So that one's a bit bittersweet, but I was like, at least it's still there. But aside from that, I'm just like, I can't even tell you how many people went there, how many people it saved from violence. Like so many stories, how many girls went there, and like one of the main key workers there, she was a mother to all of us. And I cannot even imagine how much of her wisdom she imparted on different people and how much that would have shaped their lives and sent them into a better direction or a good direction if they weren't necessarily going to go into one, because there was no pressure. She was like, I'm here every single day, or, you know, whenever they're open. and you can talk to me. So if you want to talk to me, you know where I'm at. And literally
those youth centers used to almost be like not babysitters, but do you know what I mean, like daycare. Because after school, like, I remember there was a time after school, my mum and dad used to they planned it so that in the mornings my dad would be at home to take us to school, and in the evenings my mum would pick us up. But there was a period where my mum finished too late for her to pick me up after school, so I'd go to a youth centre, like a youth club after school. And she knew that, okay, she's at the youth club, so I could pick her up from the youth club when I'm done at 6 or 7 or whatever, and she didn't have to pay for childcare because I was there. If that makes sense. I don't know if they have that now. I feel like everything's private now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they might have after school clubs, but like the one that I used to go to, that I used to go to, that I spent a majority of my time, they weren't. I mean, I was later than school. It was like I was college age anyway, but yeah. And you used to pay like a sub. You paid a sub, but it was like literally a couple quid.
I know my parents used to pay a little something. But this is in primary school, you know. This is 90s. This is not.
But you need it. You need to have these options, man. Not everybody's got money to be forking out hundreds per month or per day.
The funding's decreased from the government, so most of these places have had to go privatized.
Yeah. And
because they're not created by our community, it was like given to us.
Yeah, it's problematic.
So we've lost a lot of that. And yeah, you're right, actually. When I really deep it does impact, I think, the quality of the experience the youth get.
100%.
For sure. Yeah.
But then that in turn impacts the quality of humans that we get out of the youth. Because they become our adults.
Yeah, but I think that if you was to couple that, what we've just discussed, with the fact that everybody lives on their technology, on their I'm bringing the technology thing back, because I'm telling you, technology is ruining our lives. Everyone's on their phones. When Facebook was down recently and no one could use WhatsApp, no one could use Instagram, no one could use Facebook, I'm sure some of these youths would have been having meltdowns. Everyone was on Twitter.
Yeah, see, when the thing was broken, I didn't even know Twitter was working. I was just like, okay, cool, I'll just make some music. I was like, okay,
I'll read a book, watch TV. It's not the end of the world. Like, there's other things for me to do. But the youths of nowadays, social media is literally their life.
Yeah, that is the world.
So that's the world. That's their reality. That's how they meet people. That's how they...
But that's also, not even to divert this, but that's why the metaverse will be successful, because like people like us who grew up very much in the physical world and then were introduced to this digital age, we understand too much about both. But there are people who were born and Facebook already existed and now they're adults or approaching adult age. You know what I mean? The world to them is a completely different place than it is to us. Even down to like the whole NFT conversation, which I don't know if you know about NFTs and stuff, but I'm not even going to get into it. But essentially, it's people buying things that only exist digitally.
Right. Okay.
This was a really over summarization of the whole thing, but even if summarization is a word. But anyway, I was trying to explain to a friend that is also going to be massive, because we are used to buying things and owning things and having things until they broke and then fixing them, etc., etc. But young people, they're used to streaming services that are services. Like, we used to go out and buy singles, and then you have a collection of singles in your room. And if you didn't have it, you didn't have it.
The CD Walkman?
I never even had a CD Walkman. I had tape.
No, I had the tape one.
But I used to buy the tapes.
But I upgraded.
Yeah.
This is where you can see the difference between our age.
I didn't have money to upgrade. I had to keep with the tapes.
I did. Daddy, for Christmas, can I have? And I got it was silver. It was the Walkman, and it had inbuilt radio as well. So
Yeah,
I used to listen to pirate radio at night on my Walkman. And my first CD...
Nasty. That was the one. Come on. Nasty Crew. Anyway. Sorry.
We're definitely East Londoners.
And
what's it? I used to like get CDs. Like I had CDs and I'd play CDs on my portable CD player, and I was like,
yeah.
yes.
But you could only play the CDs that you bought.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is there's a generation of people who grew up and they never... Yeah,
then
but
it went to MP3.
Again, but the MP3s, you had to have them. You had to download it.
You had to download
You had to download it, yeah. You had to get it.
Do you remember that LimeWire? You download a song and you'd be praying that you don't hear, I did not have sexual relations with that one.
There used to be bare fake files out there.
Oh my God. You'd be like, please don't be that.
But again, this is what I'm saying. That's acquisition. You had to acquire those things. You had to get LimeWire and then download it. It wasn't physical for LimeWire, but you still had to get it. There's a whole generation of people who Spotify is standard. So they don't know about owning the music. Yeah. They just know about having access to it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Imagine
do you remember the days when you'd go? Do you remember when YouTube first came out? Well, not when it first came out, but in the early days of YouTube, and you could go on the MP3 converter.
Oh yeah.
Get the link of the YouTube video and pull the.
I still do that.
We were doing a lot. We were doing coding and all sorts in our time.
No, we actually were though.
We were because MySpace,
HTML,
MySpace was coding. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
You was learning from the best how to link images and clickable. Okay, give the picture and then you put in this.
LimeWire that you were supposed to buy. I don't know how I managed to get a bootleg.
Everybody got it for free, man.
Got it for free. I used to spend hours, and the computer was in my mum and dad's rooms. I used to spend hours in there. I'm doing homework. No.
Yeah.
I'm updating my music collection. I'll be on LimeWire.
Getting albums for free.
Albums for free, and then I'd burn it onto a CD.
Yeah. It was a lot.
So we could play it in the car or play it on our stereo.
And the quality was shocking.
Terrible. You could hear humming in the background and everything, but it's fine.
Yeah.
So long as you didn't hear, I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
With that woman? Miss Lewinsky?
Miss Lewinsky. Nah. I did not. As soon as you hear, I did, you be like, no, delete
it.
Next one.
Mad. Yeah, it was a different time, but
it's crazy. I even now, because you know when you play music now, you just need a wireless Bluetooth connection speakers. Remember when we used to have actual, like, you put the cassette in, when you finish playing the tape, you got to rewind it so that next time you can play it from the beginning, and then
you flip it over to the next side.
Side A and side B. And then, or like play on the CD, like when you play music on the CD, and you had to make sure that you didn't touch
the actual disc
because you scratch it.
These
lot don't know. These lot don't know. All those little things. I think we're the generation that got the best of both worlds, because we got to see what it was like pre-internet, and we've seen what it's like post-internet. And we still understand it. It's not like our parents who, like, they know internet world and they know, like, smartphones, but they struggle.
They're not in it. Yeah,
in a way, they struggle to use it. Whereas with us, we know how to use it because we were there. We saw the whole evolution of it So we're that golden age that's had the best of both.
We've had the journey. So,
yeah, man. Guys, please, like, get involved in the conversation. We would love to hear your thoughts on, if you're from our generation, what it was like, what you think the youths of nowadays are missing out on. And if you have younger siblings or people in your family, because I don't have young people in my family anymore. All of us are, like, of a certain age now, so I can't really speak for that youth demographic too much. Yeah. If you know, like, or if you're a young person listening to this podcast, first of all, I did swear earlier, and sorry about that. But it's an adult podcast, really. Or if you know someone who is young, like share what it's like. Like if you can share a bit of what they've got, especially about like the youth centers and like what resources are available to them for them to
express themselves,
learn, grow, build community within their sub community. That would be really interesting to know actually. And I don't have kids, so I don't even know what that's like either.
Yeah, this is the only thing that I really think about when I think about kids. I'm like, man, like, what am I really giving this child? I want them to have at least what I had, if you know what I mean.
I think it's just going to have to be play dates.
That sounds moist.
It's boring, isn't it? Because, like, I remember, like, my cousins, like, all of us hanging out, outside, like, playing out.
I want my child to be able to be outside, but like I also don't want my child to be outside because outside is wild, you know.
Outside's wild, especially now that all these kids have mobile phones and AirPods.
You know what? It's not that mobile phones that I'm worried about. It's the Rambos. It's wild for kids. Do you know what I mean? Like it really does get wild. Not to get wild. Into that gang conversation,
it's always been a bit wild. Man.
It's been a bit wild, but not like this. That's the only other thing. It's like,
and do you know what? The reason why it's not like this is because they had other things that they could do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could be engaged in other things, but
it's a shame.
It's very reduced.
It's a
the
shame.
Channels that you can put your energy into is reduced, and that's why it's wilder. It might just
be that I'm paying for all sorts of clubs. They're gonna be doing everything.
Oh well, yeah, my kid's gonna be doing everything in the clubs, but I don't know, man. They're gonna
play sports, play an instrument. All sorts, just so that they're not at home on an iPad all day.
Yeah, that's dead. That's dead.
Wow. Anyway, I feel like the conversation should carry on in the comments below.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, Venom, where can we find you?
Boom. You can find me on Instagram, venom.com. And also Apple Music, Spotify, all them streaming sites. Spell Venom, VENXM on Instagram. It's VENXM.music.
I'm going to put the links below and all that good stuff.
And where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I've changed it back now.
I know. This is what I said at the beginning. I told you so.
Long story, guys, but I finally got my original Instagram name back. So it's dami.zain, DAMI.ZAIN. And on Twitter, it's Dami Zain, just DAMIZAIN. I do have a YouTube page as well. Same thing, Dami Zain, which I'll be back to posting on at some point in 2022.
Woy.
I am struggling today, so I'm really sorry, guys. I've not really said a lot. I don't feel like normally I'm bare monologues.
I know this time we talk for like hour and a half, but she's not said
really
much.
Said anything.
She's not said. I've not really,
but I'm really struggling because I've got a sore throat, and I've,
If you're watching this, at this point, I would like to say, reach out to Dami on all of her socials and make sure she's all right. Make sure she survived this brush she's had with the germs.
God, all this because I went to
she went outside.
I went to Wizkid twice. Who told me?
She wanted to go outside, and now outside came inside. So now she's feeling.
So rough, but the dedication to still do this episode today, I was like, no,
exactly.
So yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Next week I'll be back in top form, back with my finger wagging. Can I just say?
Oh yeah, she had energy for them last time.
Yeah, boy. But yeah, until next week, everyone. Peace.
Hey, unpicked. Hey, unpicked.